Possibly we're live. There we are live. Yeah, wow. That one turned for a very long time. So welcome to October. Yeah, welcome to October. Let me know if you can hear me because, tech is our issue. So let me know in the chat if you can hear me. And I'll wait. And if I don't get a notification in chat, then I'll pretend that you can hear me. Okay, so I believe that you can hear me. Welcome again, as I said, to October. And today, oh, thank you. Good. There's such a huge delay. It's like a 30-second delay on this thing. It's ridiculous. Anyway, I have a couple of questions I'm going to answer. And one of the questions the guides really want to step into because it's a question that everybody wants to know. But the first question is the mini farm part of my life path. The shorter answer is no. But the longer answer is a little bit different because part of your life path is to share and grow and share life, like the joy of life. And that's what mini farm is. It's joy of life. But it's not, what they mean is it's not like I am put on this earth to be a farmer. That's not what you are. Your life path, if you truly must know, is to celebrate living and life and bring joy to people who are living. Point out joyful things in life to people who are currently living. That's all. Because a lot of people, they get busy. They get their heads down. They get all into themselves. They're into their devices. They're scrolling TikTok. It doesn't matter. And then they miss stuff. They miss what a gorgeous day it was today. They miss the sound of the birds in the air. And so if a mini farm fulfills that, then rock and roll, okay? Rock and roll that mini farm. And so my next question is something we're going to focus on for the remainder of our time together. And this question is, I'm working on clearing my energetic blocks, particularly around manifesting abundance. What are the best practices I can do now to clear these energies? And when will I know to take inspired action from the universe? No, we don't have problems with that at all, do we, guys? Nobody wants to know about that. So I'm going to be very serious and maybe a little bit pedantic about this one because it is a question for the ages. I feel that I am blocked. I don't know what to do next. And I'm missing something that I want very much. And so this is a focus on lack. They wanted you to notice that this is a focus on what isn't. I don't know. There is no knowing. I don't feel. There is no inspiration. I don't have. There is no having in my hand. And so, how does one remedy that? And so they're going to circle back and go into an explanation about energy and what is going on with energy in the human body. Now, let's start with basic energy. Basic energy is light, right? That's what we would consider basic energy, but it's a little darker than that. Because basic energy is, when we first notice it, it becomes light. And then it becomes concentrated by gravity, our gravity. Think about the sun. The sun was information, then it became concentrated by gravity. And boy, howdy, does it give a lot of light. Think about the energy of this earth. it was concentrated by gravity, and now there is just an abundance of life on Earth. And so now let's think about, as we concentrate this energy and it becomes light, and then when you concentrate the light, it becomes matter, right? Humans, things, stuff with gravity. And now when you concentrate the matter, it becomes consciousness. Concentrate the matter to become a human, right? And it becomes consciousness. And now, what is the highest form of consciousness? Compassion, right? Being able to be aware of other consciousness on the earth. And now, what is the highest, the most concentrated form of compassion? It's love. And with that knowledge, understand where in the places of your unit, of your body, are you storing no love? Are you holding on to moments in the past? I want to ask you a question. Have you ever been in love? Think about love. Have you ever been like ridiculously in love? What happened to the passage of time when you were ridiculously in love? What happened to it? Did it just disappear? I'm like, oh, we've been at it all afternoon, boy. I've never said that. So the thing is love takes you beyond the consciousness of space-time. It transcends time. And it allows you to fully connect with another human being or with anything you choose to connect with. So when you are feeling any other vibration but love, because love is a pure vibration, your mind, this thing, the concentrator, decides what to do with those things that we're feeling that aren't love. And oftentimes they're bound, they're held. So the things that we consider blocks are simply moments in the past that we have yet to, I can say, process, understand, deliver ourselves from needing to be made whole from. And they're stored in us. And they're creating low vibrational things. And those low vibrational things cause us to be human, like we forget ourselves. We forget that we are divine. We forget that we do have gifts. We forget that we can achieve. That's what those low vibrational things do. And so when we learn, and this is what you were asking, learn how to release these blocks, but it's not really releasing them. It's not overcoming them. It's not smiting them into nothingness. Understand that. When you have pressure and resistance to a block, it's going to push back. You ever play doorknob game with your brother or sister? It only works if there's somebody else on the other side of the door. Right? I'm pulling on my doorknob, and they're pulling in the other direction. It only works. And that's what the blocks do when you push resistance upon them, is that doorknob game with you. So how do you win doorknob game? You let go. And whoever it is falls into the room or falls backwards, whichever way side of the door you were on. But that's the gist of the energetic blocks. You're pushing and pushing and pushing, or actively storing the energy. That's what's going on. You're essentially storing all this energy in your body because you don't want to know about it. I know that. I discovered it myself. Your brain told your body, beyond here be dragons. I don't want to know about it. That's literally what happens. So what you've done is created a static resistance to those things you don't want to know about. Ever have a pain? Like in your hip, in your shoulder, in your neck? Beyond there be dragons. Seriously, beyond there be dragons. And so, what does one do about this? Well, the first thing you do, remember, to go back to love, you love those things that you're afraid of. You love this thing you don't have. You just love it. Just love it. For example, if you have a goal that you just absolutely want to have, fall in love with it. And what is love? Love is acceptance. You don't see any flaws. You don't see anything wrong. And when love is freaking blind, right? He may be the biggest idiot on the planet, but you don't see it because you're in love, right? So fall in love with this thing that you want. Fall in love with this darkness that you feel in your body. Accept it wholeheartedly. Release the need to be made whole from a slight. Accept it. And you know what happens when you love those places in you that are dark? They become assimilated as part of you, and that bound energy is free to become something else. This is what I do when I work with people privately. We work on those bound places and release them. And now the next thing, how does one know one's intuition? How does one know when to take inspired action? The first step is to know when one is speaking. If one cannot hear, then how can one listen? Think about that. And so if you have set up a steady diet of self-doubt, criticism, belittling, badgering to yourself, eventually that place in you, this heart connection, this soul, is going to say, why bother? Talk to the hand, bitch. Right? To revive a 90s statement. That's what's going to happen. So what does one do there? One honors the smallest intuition. For example, people call it impulses. I have an impulse to go somewhere. I have a thought. I have an impulse. And what happens? How long does it take for you to talk yourself out of it? Nah, they wouldn't want to hear from me. Nah, it's too much trouble. Nah, I could never do something like that. So you were told to take inspired action. And it took just moments, just seconds to say, nah. So there's two reasons for that, my guides say. One, the old vibration of fear, the dark places. But the other reason is that this thing right here wants to maintain equilibrium. This thing right here gets paid to keep you out of places it doesn't know what's going to happen next in. This one right here is paid to keep us alive. And our very, very ridiculous primate brains decided if we don't know what it is, then it's damn sure going to be dangerous. And that can be changed with love. You just simply say, you name your little primate brain part and say, thank you. Your input has been noted. I love you. Yes, I hear you. And I'm going to ignore you. Or, yes, I hear you. And I have another idea. You see, you don't want to add resistance to this. You don't want to add pressure to it. You don't want to say, no, 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 no. I don't hear you. No, no, you're not there. Because just like a squeaking puppy, does a squeaking puppy shut up and go away if you say no to it? It maybe if you crush the puppy or beat the puppy or yell at the puppy, but even then the puppy will still make noise. No, you simply say, I see you, puppy. I acknowledge you, puppy. And we're going to do something else. All right. And it's very helpful to notice that your abundance, this love that you have for, and it could be things, but it could just be for fulfillment, for this life purpose fulfillment is being chased away by you chasing it. Consider this thing that you want is a kitten. We're using animals today. Have you ever chased a kitten or a puppy for that matter? Does it work out? Generally not. Instead, when you sit still, become joyful. Excuse me. That's weird. Anyway, when you sit still and become joyful, you're more likely to have that thing in your life. So, if you're going to manifest something, if you're going to manifest your heart's desire, you must first say yes and to the naysayers. You must love those dark places within yourself that causes you to fear the unknown and to make you, oh, who do you think you are? You know, it didn't work out the last time, and those people laughed at me, and how many people told me I was stupid, and all that stuff, all that pain. You say yes to it. I hear you. And now I love that you're helping me, and I'm going to do something else. And then finally, you fall in love with this outcome. You love it. You love it so much. You don't kiss the future of it. You kiss the now of it. You kiss the having of it. Are you guys seeing the little light sparkles coming through? That's very interesting. You kiss the having. You just love it. For example, I have a client who is desperate to get into Oxford. But once she changed her idea of desperate to have it, to thankful for having it and having the opportunity, and saying, I hear you, gremlins, and in my heart, I love it so much that I'm going to trust the love that I have. And the more you love, the more inspiration, the spirit comes. The more love, the more courage, because courage, heart, age, you see, you use your heart. And oddly enough, it sounds silly, it sounds trite, it sounds mundane. But it works. It honestly works. And so they want to thank you so much for asking that question. And I'm asking, do they want to do a healing? And they said, no, not at this time. They do not want to lead a healing. They want to leave you with that information. And the final piece of information is, if you have old agreements, i.e., I have an agreement somewhere in the past that I will not overshadow my parents or my friends, or I have an agreement that I shall not make myself showy because that's embarrassing. You need to break those old agreements. Any agreement, whether tacit or unspoken, that does not align with the courage, with the heart age, must be broken for your own purpose. Because you came to this earth to be exactly that person. And we are all given these gifts. And how dare we be embarrassed to share them? How dare we hold ourselves back from the millions of people that need us, especially now, as the earth is changing so much. So I say to you, have courage and trust your heart. And how one hears one's heart is by making this thing right here. Go in the corner, sit down, and be quiet. I hope this helps. And I'll post this in the Facebook. I love you and thank you for coming. Bye-bye.